Hey everyone, it's Mr. Souther coming at you with another lesson on code.org. We're on Unit 2 for class structure and design in computer science A. And here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and look at lesson 7 today called Accessor methods. I'm going to do not going to do the predict and run, but let's go straight to the second module so I can actually do some editing here of code. So accessor methods are things that allow you to get the value of a variable. So a lot of times when we run the code on something or we create variables and then their, corresponding objects, we can't see what the value of the variable is. So this is where this lesson will come into play. So a couple things they want you to do is they want you to point out if you go. So right now we have the main class called course runner or tester class, and we have another class called course. So the idea here is we're going to be able to spawn course objects and do stuff with them, right? Namely, we're focused on how many students are enrolled in that class called algebra or graphic design. Okay. The course.java, the class called course, is going to be the one where everything that is entails that class, like variables, things like that, methods, constructors, all of that is going to exist in the course class. Okay, so we're looking at course now. So I see public class course. We have a private instance variable called num students, and that is an integer data type. So again, positive or negative whole numbers. Obviously, we can't have half a student, so we're going to have whole number students. I see a constructor that's parameterized, so a parameterized constructor that takes the number of students as an input, and it's going to attach it through this keyword to that object that you create. And that's what's happening here on Course Runner, where they spawn or instantiate a graphic design object that has 6 students. So again, graphic design course object that has 6 students in it. We have a algebra course object that has 24 students in it, right? And then we're going to print them in whatever. One thing they want you to notice is all the way at the bottom here, the last little bit of code. And again, comments go a long way here. It says it returns the number of students in the course. Let's talk about the return word here. When you run a method, it might do something. At the end, if you want to produce an answer that you want to display or do whatever with, you're going to code it as return. You'll notice it's a keyword because it's in purple, right? So it's significant there. And it's going to return some sort of, in this case, a variable. You can also change this to a number. And then when I run this thing, it's going to just spit out 5 for the number of students. I'll do that in a minute. So let's control Z that. Okay. So we have this method. And I know it's a method because, well, it doesn't say public course. It says public int get num students. So we have some method called get number of students or get num students. And it's going to go ahead and look at factor in or return an integer data type. So again, public or private is the first word that comes in for whether or not you can access it. And then it's going to talk about the data type, which is going to be when we're done running this method, what do you want it to like spit out? A lot of times in unit 1, because we're just manipulating an object, we would just type in void. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here. You'll notice void turns purple as well. The problem is going to be that we're going to return an integer value, but this is saying you're going to return nothing. So watch what happens when I run this thing, which is what module 2 wants you to do. And you'll notice a bunch of errors come up. The main thing is that we can't use the word void when we want to have a return. That's really where those 2 errors are coming from. You might be asking, Southard, why are we getting 2 errors? Well, one error is here, and then the other error is in the tester class where I tried to run the get num students method. So that's where the 2 errors come from. Okay, so go ahead and return that back to int. Okay. And then what they want me to do is change or return. They want me to change this or turn it off, basically. But just for fun, I'm going to run this, and I'm going to show you what happens when you just change num students. So right now it has graphic design students is 6, algebra students 24. Okay. Where that comes from, again, is when I instantiate my objects, I tell it ahead of time, hey, there's 6 kids in this graphic design class, and there's 24 students in this algebra class. Done. Now watch what happens, though, when I go back to the course.java and I change return num students. What if I said, you know what, just return 5, no matter what? Now I'm going to run it again. And look what it tells me. It tells me, hey, there's only 5 algebra students for whatever reason. There's 6 in graphic design students. Now you might be asking, wait a minute, why did the graphic design? Well, let's focus on algebra students. When you run this method called getNumStudents, I don't care what happens. The only thing it's going to return is the number 5. If you go to content or the course runner, look what happens here. We're going to go ahead and do system.println. It's going to be algebra.getNumStudents. So as soon as I run this method, it's going to go ahead and spit out the number 5, and it's going to link it up with the algebra object. Just to play around a bit, I did int numstudents equals 6. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Let's go ahead and use graphic design as the name of that course, the object. And then numstudents is going to be the method, so there's a parentheses there. And when I run this, now you'll see that both of them will be 5. Oh, I got an error. What's the matter? Graphic design, there's something wrong. Oops, sorry, not dot numstudents. It's the this guy, get numstudents. Sorry about that. And there we go. You'll notice that I forced both of them to return or spit out the number 5. All right, so maybe we're not happy with that. I'll change it later. So you can kind of play with this a little bit. Let me go ahead and go to module 7 because that's where the harder ones come into play. Let's go ahead and check out the cupcake class. Okay, so what's going to happen here is you can go ahead and import the cookie and dessert class if you want. But really what they want us to do here is they want us to just focus on writing those accessor methods for the instance variables in the cupcake class. So here's the deal. We're going to have, I see right off the bat that we have, we did this in level 6, but we instantiated a cupcake object. Or sorry, not a cupcake object, a dessert object. Let me change this to something else. Like maybe, actually let's just keep it cupcake because this is what it's about. So there's an object called cupcake from the dessert class that has a velvet flavor and there's the price. I went ahead and I printed the get flavor, get price. Actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over on this just so you can see it all from scratch, okay? And I'll do this quickly. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let's say I forget to commit code from the backpack. I'm going to go ahead and click on this hyperlink here, and it's going to pop up a new page that shows you all the code you need for each of those classes if it ever loads. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the dessert class. Let's go ahead and throw it right in here, okay? And that's the dessert. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. Done. Let's go and make one more. We're doing cupcakes, right? So do cupcake.java. I'm going to go ahead and go to the other tab, go to the cupcake class, and I'm going to go ahead and copy all that over. And there you have it. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and commit this stuff to the backpack. So I want cookie and dessert. Whoops, not cookie, but dessert.java. Or sorry, I want to hit. What am I doing? My bad. I want to commit these codes. So I'm going to go here to commit code. Sorry about that. And we're going to go ahead and commit the updated dessert and cupcake classes. And I'm going to go ahead and save dessert and cupcake to the files I have on hand. All right, so we got dessert and we have cupcake. So what they wanted me to do in module 6 of this lesson is they said, hey, would you mind writing some accessor methods? So that's the point of the accessor method is to produce or show what the value is that's stored in these variables. So you see how we have flavor and we have price? That means I'm going to go ahead and come down here, keeping in mind we have flavor and price, and write 2 different methods. So the first one's going to be public flavor is a string, so string flavor, okay? And that's going to just return flavor. Let me add the word get flavor, and that's that. And I'm going to do one more for public double, because that's price is a decimal, and I'm going to do get price. And all this is going to do is simply return the variable value for price. And there you go. Done. I'm going to go ahead and run it, make sure there's no errors. Okay, done. So now what I have to do in Cupcake is keeping in mind, so Cupcake is a subclass of dessert. It says it right there. There's extends. Okay. Because of that, you'll notice that we have private Boolean is mini. There's a constructor for is mini, right, et cetera, et cetera. This we did a couple lessons ago using the super keyword to bring over flavor and price, right, from the superclass for that parameterized constructor. Last thing we're going to do is check this out. I'm going to go ahead and let me ask you the question. Do I need to write an accessor method for flavor and price? The answer is No. Why is that? Well, the superclass already has it done. So that's the beauty of it. So if you make a subclass, it automatically has these methods. So I don't have to do it again. So all I got to do to write the accessor method here is just simply do public. And then we're doing for is mini, right? Which is a Boolean. So I'm going to do public Boolean get mini, for example. And then I'm going to go ahead and return is mini, right? What's the value of that variable? Run it again, make sure we have no errors, which we shouldn't. Done. Okay, that's great. So I'm going to go back over to food truck runner, and they want me to instantiate. Let's do both. I'll just do cupcake and dessert. So let's go ahead and do dessert class. Let's do a cookie, right? Equals new. Actually, do they want a cupcake? That's fine. We'll do cookie equals new dessert. And I'm going to have it be with chocolate and cost $2.99. Okay. I'm also going to go ahead and instantiate a cupcake object, right? Called, velvet, right? Red velvet or whatever, new cupcake. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and tell it, hey, this is a red velvet cupcake. It's going to cost $3.99. And it's also going to be not a mini. I don't want a mini size cupcake. Go ahead and run it. Make sure we have no errors, right? And then we're all set. Done. Perfect. So I'm going to clear it, rerun. And here comes the fun part. We're going to go ahead and run this again. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and instantiate the cupcake object. Done. Let's go ahead and print those objects. Sorry, it's a little bit loud. There's a club in here. So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go ahead and do system.println, and we're going to call the accessor method. So we're going to do cookie.getFlavor, right? And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for, let's do one for velvet. And I'm going to do get mini and just see how this runs. And you'll see that it's going to print out whatever it is, chocolate false. Let's go and test it, see if I pass the test, which I may not. Oh, it looks like they want me to title it as get is mini. So let's go ahead and change that. Get is mini. And then get is mini. I'll test it again. And there we go. So that's that. All right, I'm going to finish this off and hope you guys do well.